Let's see. I think I'm live. Okay, let's get this started. Welcome, everybody. Today, I want to talk about something that doesn't get nearly enough attention in parenting, especially when you're raising a child with developmental differences. It's called psychological wealth. Fancy word to say feeling good inside. I want to bring this up today because I have helped dozens of parents and families overcome their child's behavior challenges, and I often see parents doing everything right: multiple therapies, full schedules, services, progress charts, pediatrician recommendations, you name it. But even with all of that, even with checking all of the boxes, they still feel overwhelmed. They still feel stuck. They still feel like they're on survival mode instead of like calm living mode. So today, we're going to go over why progress doesn't always equal peace, why therapy alone won't change how you feel as a parent, and what you can do right now to close the gap between doing more and actually feeling better. The problem is that we've been taught to measure success by what we can see: skills, milestones, progress data, behavioral goals. But there is something that always gets missed. A child can gain skills and still feel overwhelmed. A parent can see improvement and still feel like they can't lift their head above water. A family can be doing everything right and still feel a lot of pain and a lot of disappointment. That's because most systems focus on performance, not on helping you feel better. Traditional therapies are great at helping your child do more, achieve more. And of course, don't get me wrong, this is absolutely important and necessary, but it doesn't always mean that it will help your family or yourself as a parent feel better. And when you don't feel better, no amount of progress will actually feel like it's ever enough. Now, if you are a parent and you tell yourself, well, if my child is making progress, I should feel better or I will feel better. I want you to know that progress doesn't automatically create peace. Feeling better comes from inner work and inner regulation, not just external results or external circumstances. If you have ever heard stories about incredibly successful athletes or professionals who achieve massive amounts of success, but they still don't feel good, this is the same thing. It's the same principle that applies to you, I, and everybody else. We need to put in the work to feel better with our parenting despite external circumstances. Now, another thing that I hear often is that a parent will tell me, I'll take care of myself once things calm down, or once this one behavior is over, or once this new school transition happens. Waiting for life to settle before you start taking care of yourself is kind of like waiting for a toddler to stop asking for snacks. Really, the best thing that you can do for yourself and your family is to start taking care of yourself now. So, with that in mind, let's go into what psychological wealth actually is. Psychological wealth is internal stability. It's basically the stuff that makes you feel okay, even when life isn't. I want you to think about it like a bank account and having like a emotional savings account. When similar to a bank account and a savings account where you pull money when you need something and you're in a challenge and you have something to save you. It's the same concept. Something that happens that you can pull from those savings from to save you in the moment. That's kind of like what psychological wealth is. It's an emotional savings account. It's that sense of, I've got this, I can handle it even when it's not easy. And I want to be clear that this is not about pretending that everything is okay. It's not toxic positivity and self care bubble baths and affirmations. It is not. It's about really building the skills that you need as a parent to have emotional resilience, to have meaning and purpose, and to create a life that is satisfactory for you, that gives you satisfaction, even when it's messy with all of its circumstances. Because when you have that emotional savings account, you don't just get through the day, you actually show up differently. You show up with more patience, more perspective, and a little calmer. And It's important to know why this matters. Why does it matter that you show up with more patience, with more perspective, and calmer as a parent? It does because when you feel better, your child does better too. We could have literally the same child and the same parent under the same conditions, but the parent that feels like they are better, they don't need to change anything about the child in order for that child to improve as well. So when parents start to feel better, then your nervous system feels calmer, you're more present, and your home becomes a safe environment. So when parents make this shift from focusing on doing more therapies, et cetera, to feeling better instead of doing more, that's when I have seen the most change in the lives of the families that I have helped. And that is because no therapist or professional can regulate your nervous system for you. We cannot change the story that you are telling yourself in your head or give you peace of mind if you are still in fight or flight yourself. Those things come from the work that you put in and from within. That's why progress can happen on paper, but you still feel like you're drowning or that you don't have enough hours in the day or that you're not doing enough. Now, the good news are that feeling better as a parent is entirely within your control. And here are some strategies that you can start using today to help you close that gap. Number one is to change your story, not the strategy. A lot of parents often ask me, what is one strategy that I can do for my child to X, or a strategy for my child to stop Y? But I rarely ever get asked, how do I feel better? So, one thing that I recommend is to start to ask yourself, what story am I telling myself? What lives rent free in your brain? Is it that things are never going to get better? Is it that you'll never see your child do X, Y, or Z? Or do you tell yourself that life is not fair? Whatever it might be, the first step is acknowledging and identifying that story that you're telling yourself. Once you know it and you're able to identify it, then you can ask yourself, what story would help me feel more supported? That shift alone will give you new perspective and it will actually help you rewire your nervous system. Second strategy is to actually prioritize your growth, not just your child's. You're not just a parent, you're a whole complex person with likes, dislikes, and individual needs that need to be met. So, creating space for coaching, for therapy, for support groups, reflection, time for yourself, whatever that may be. Again, you don't want to wait until things calm down because they probably never will. Something else is going to come up, and then something else is going to come up, and you're always going to feel like it's never the right time. So, if you help yourself, then everything else tends to follow. A calm, regulated, present parent usually leads to a regulated child. Strategy number three is to start measuring how you feel, not just what you do. When I talk to parents, I notice that they always list all of the things that they're already doing for their child or for everyone around. IEP meetings, therapies, birthday parties, doctor's appointments, you name it. The list is long. But when I ask how they feel, the answer is somewhere along the lines of, oh, I'm fine, when their face clearly says otherwise. So I recommend at the end of the day that you start acknowledging this. Ask yourself, how do I feel? Do I feel connected? Do I feel supported? Do I like how I acted today? This gives you awareness and it helps you identify the areas that need work from you. So, again, progress is not just about a skill, it's about your human experience. Like, what are you experiencing in your day to day? That's part of progress and is so important. So, again, this isn't about doing more, it's about just becoming more grounded and having more perspective with what you already have. That alone is a skill. It's a skill that you can teach yourself, that you can learn to improve your circumstance as a parent and how you feel. And that is the topic that I have today. I am going to open it up for some questions. Let me see what I got. Okay, I have a question that says, what if my situation is truly hard? Isn't this just a kind of mindset? Whoa, whoa. I like that. Um, Listen, your situation is hard. For every parent, it probably is. Full stop. Now, feeling better or psychological wealth doesn't deny that reality. It actually just gives you power and control over that reality. We're not changing the facts, we're just changing how we perceive those facts and what those facts create in our internal world. So I'm not saying that the challenges are not there. We're just saying that we're not giving the challenge the power to control us. Similar question. I don't want toxic positivity or pretending everything is okay. How do I feel better without denying how hard it is? Totally a valid concern to not want toxic positivity. And I want to let you know this is not toxic positivity. I'm not saying go get up in front of the mirror and say positive things and affirmations. No, it's more about changing your perspective and really putting in the work to know that your circumstance doesn't define you. We're not denying the hard realities of your circumstance. They are there, but we're not giving it the power to change how we behave. Just because this is a circumstance that is that way, we are not going to act in accordance that is going to make us feel worse. So, what we're actually taking control of with this is our behavior and how we act and react to those circumstances. I love this question. It says, what's one small thing I can do right now to stop feeling so on edge all the time, even if nothing else changes yet? I really like that question because it shows that you're already thinking about ways in which you can change your circumstance, which is part of what I'm talking about today. What can you control about your behavior so that you feel better? Again, progress is not going to be measured by skills and things alone. It's going to be measured by your human experience. How do you feel? Give you an example that I saw recently. If you're a parent and you've ever felt like you are rushing out the door or cleaning and like mopping, and you're like you picture this mom like just doing everything fast, moving around, that actually sends your nervous system a signal that you're always in a rush, that you're always in survival, that you're there's something that you need to fight, flight, or flee. So if you feel like you are constantly in a rush, that makes you feel on edge all the time, and that makes your brain feel like you are under a threatening condition at all times. So to answer the question, just to give you a picture, to answer the question of what is one small thing that I can do right now to stop feeling this, I would say slow down. Like when you are doing something like getting out the door, just literally pause for 2 seconds and remind yourself, oh, I don't need to rush. I don't need to move this fast. So slowing down is one. It takes 2 seconds. If you need reminders, what you can do is put it on the wall, put it on your car, just a sticky note, say slow down, and take 1 to 2 seconds to slow down. The second thing that you can do is actually take a deep breath, which is a similar concept of slowing down. It just gives you something else to do in that moment. I'm so focused on getting through the day that I don't even know how I feel anymore. How do I start checking in with myself? I love this too because you are already acknowledging that you are going so fast through your day and you're just trying to get through the day that you don't even know how you feel anymore. That is actually you in real time acknowledging that there is something that you're feeling something, right? You feel like you don't even know how that feels. So what I would recommend for you is to put an alarm on your phone and literally label it reflection. It doesn't have to be long. Label it reflection when your kids go to sleep, 7:30, 8, 9 o'clock, and then set up 2 minutes to reflect. How did I feel today? Again, it doesn't have to be long, it doesn't have to be extensive. Just the sole action of you creating the intentional time to ask yourself that question will naturally help your brain rewire itself to be more intentional in your day to day. That's how powerful your brain is. So if you just put on your phone later at night, put a reminder, and ask yourself the question, 2 minutes, answer it out loud, and do it daily consistently, you'll see the difference. What if I don't like how I acted today as a parent? How do I use that information without beating myself up? I totally understand how sometimes realizing that you made a mistake or that you didn't act in accordance with how you want to act can make you feel guilty and beat yourself up. It's awesome. I assume that the reason why you ask is because you already recognize that you have that pattern of beating yourself up. First thing that I would do is ask yourself that question. Is beating myself up serving me or making it worse? If it's making it worse, then maybe you can tell yourself a different story, right? I can use this information to act differently tomorrow. This does not define who I am as a parent. Whatever mantra or little saying that really resonates with you, you can tell yourself that to rewire that part or of a tendency to beat yourself up. Now, what I would do with that information is just pick one little thing that you would do differently. So, for example, if today I noticed that I reacted and I yelled at my kid because he wanted an extra cookie, I don't know, I yelled at a time that I felt like it wasn't in accordance with who I want to be as a parent. Then for tomorrow, I'm going to say like, okay, well, next time I feel like I'm losing my cool, I'm just going to take 2 seconds before I do that. And that's it. I'm not going to do an overhaul of my entire behavior or my entire parenting. Just one small improvement that I can make in my parenting. What happens is like investing. Your changes compound over time and then it gets better. And then you see real transformation once you start really compounding those little changes in your day to day. I feel disconnected from myself, not just my child. Is that something this approach helps with? Absolutely. That's actually, it helps you connect with yourself more than it helps you connect with your child. That is the whole idea and the whole purpose of having this concept of psychological wealth in mind, of having this concept of, no matter how much progress and achievement we create, if we don't feel better inside, nothing is going to be good enough, is the fact that we're disconnected with ourselves. So this approach can absolutely help you feel more connected, have that like more positive human experience that, would help you better your circumstance. I notice I feel calm only when my child is doing well and anxious when they aren't. Is that just something I need to accept? That is totally a fair question to feel that, when your child is doing well, you feel good. And when they're not, you feel anxious. I would say that that's not you need something that you need to accept. And I actually have helped a lot of parents with that particular feeling. A lot of parents come to me and after they have gone through some work with us, they basically say like the biggest difference that I notice is that I feel like I can contain those challenging circumstances. Like my child has improved, yes, but I still experience the tantrums, the aggressions, the protests, the severe, all of that. And the difference is that I don't feel that I cannot handle them. So, no, you don't have to accept that. That's actually the work that is required for you from you as a parent in order to improve your circumstance. When you change how you show up and when you start feeling like you can handle those challenging moments, then how your child behaves has basically no power on how you feel. So you can still feel calm and collected when your child is behaving well or not. And I think that is the last question that I have for today, unless anybody else has anything else, which I don't think so. All right. Well, I'll see you guys Next time.